Stop playing the music. Stop it. A sweet irony given today's topic. I apologize about that introduction, ladies and gentlemen. Problems arose, ensued, were overcome. How are you doing, Bob? How's life treating you? Musical, I trust?
Yes, very, very rhythmic. It's
No,
the sound of life is just going on day by day.
that's it. That's all we can do. And I mean, if it doesn't get to the moment where it's just like one of those done, as people walk off to the gallows, then we're okay. We're all right at that. I don't know what the name of that drum roll is called, otherwise I could have cited it better. So for today, my lords, ladies and gentlemen, the question on the table is, what if the music you loved at 15 is still running your emotional operating system today? We're both very much inspired by a book called The Sound of Being Human by Jude Rogers. And that asks a question most of us really have never thought to even ask ourselves. Not just why do we love music, but what has music made us? And if you're sat there going, I don't really like music, that's a feeling too. That is also influenced by the music around you and what you think about it as well. Because the soundtrack of your life isn't just a decoration, it's more of an architecture. It shapes your memories, your emotional responses, your sense of self. Really often before you were old enough to choose it consciously. Like my genuinely earliest memory of something specifically music based is me and my dad. Every time he would pick me up from martial arts class as a kid on a Monday evening, we'd listen to the big band on Radio 2. And like it was just on for like an hour and a half. And we go and get some Chinese food afterwards. He thought he was being cute because it was Chinese martial arts. We go and get some Chinese food. It was great, right? It was great. And I'm still a massive jazz fan and big band fan and swing fan and all that kind of fun stuff today. And that's arguably the case. What about your good self, sir? What's your music of choice?
Very, very varied. I love music. It's to me, it's as much of a language as the so-called non-verbal behaviour.
Yes.
It's like a language without words. For me, it invokes memories, and you're going back. I'm probably older than you, and I can go back to the early '60s. And I suppose having older sisters, the Beatles. But for me, I I like experimental music
Nice.
mainly. One of my go-to guys is Brian Eno in lots of different
Yes.
ways. Not just for his music, although he has written a book called Visual Music,
I remember us
which
talking
is
about it a while ago.
which is an art book, but sort of mirrors his feelings of music. So
Nice.
I can't do anything. I sit with music on all day long. In the
Yeah.
car, music is always on. I
Yeah.
certainly get my money's worth out of Spotify.
Rightly so. Right. Rightly so. I mean, it's weird if people were ever to sort of shortchange the importance of music, try watching a movie without it. See if that affects your feelings in a certain way. And like, why can a song from 20 odd years ago return you to a specific room
Yeah,
or a specific feeling? It's not just nostalgia. There is some neuroscience involved to it as well. Music is really encoded differently to any other memory. It binds to emotional and autobiographical memory.
yeah.
I believe the systems are involved simultaneously. There was a chap whose name I'm going to try and pronounce, but I'm not sure I will do it justice. Stefan Kolsch, Koelsch. Um, Part of his research was showing that music activates the hippocampus, the amygdala,
Yeah.
the reward circuits, all in combination. It's like a neurological lock that makes musical memory extraordinarily resistant to time and in some cases, even neurodegeneration. Like if you look at some of the big songs that everyone knows, there's anything by Queen or Michael Jackson or the Beatles, one of these big timeless bands, and you go, like, I've never actually sat down to learn the words. It's just permeated a moment or a thought or an idea. And
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a moment. There's one song that was in my life at a time when I was struggling a little bit, and that was Peter Gabriel and Kate Bush was sort of guesting on it, called "Don't Give
Nice.
Up." And
Yeah.
I the thing is that I came through that. So although at the time it was a difficult, when I hear that, it takes me back, but it's not in a negative way. It's it's euphoria in a way, because it reminds me that I got through whatever it was I was going through at the time. So I think music does that, and music is for me the soundtrack of my life. And I can hear a song and know where I was and what I was doing at that time. It's it is music is such a part of my life.
Love
Um,
that.
but it's not just me. I think it's everyone, isn't it?
Mm,
Everyone responds to music, and it's music for me, music sort of is in like the Holy Trinity. It sits at
mm,
sort of on an axis of biology, emotion, but it's also social.
mm.
For a long
Yeah, yeah.
while, I was involved. I was a DJ back in my youth,
Nice.
and so and that was because I was quite a shy guy. It was a way of meeting people and
Mm,
made me feel part of something which I didn't really feel part of, which is like society in a way. But that
yeah,
was like a subset of society, and I felt comfortable in that. And it was
yeah,
music that got me into that.
yeah.
So I could take it through. I could go through the punk rock when I got into punk rock and all this type of thing. And it is the story of my life, and I'm sure you're the same.
Oh, very much so. Very, very much so. There's one. I mean, there's ton. A bunch of thoughts were trying to come out of my mouth at the same time. It's, that very much didn't happen. But like, I've got musical instruments within easy reach. You know,
Hmm.
this is my harmonica setup. I'm trying to teach myself Piano
Oh
Man
wow.
by Billy Joel, so I can do the guitar and the harmonica at the same time. Um, but yeah, there's a song that is it's by Newton Faulkner, and the man himself is disgustingly talented. He's incredible,
Mm,
but the song in question is called "People Should Smile More," and
mm.
it's one of those songs that no matter, even if I'm in an amazing mood, put that on, it always makes it that little bit better.
Yeah.
And it's incredible, like I've always been around music. When I think about it, my dad was the singer in a band. uh, my
Okay.
wife my wife is a pianist. It's
Oh
music's everywhere. And I was
yeah.
reading as well, like people with advanced dementia who can struggle with recognizing family members, or what it
Yeah.
is that they're doing that day. They can still sing songs
Yeah.
from their adolescence, word for
Yeah.
word. One of the first memory methods, for learning was a song line, and
Mm,
these were from groups of individuals that didn't even have a language. Really,
yeah.
it predated, well, not language, sorry, predated writing things down. So they sang and told stories and moved,
Yeah.
and these folks stored generations of information around it. Music is a powerful thing. Intelligence doesn't guarantee influence. If you can't communicate and do so clearly, your ideas die in translation. Productive communications teaches you how to understand behavior, how to navigate tension, and how to create real clarity in conversation. No manipulation, no scripts, just behavioral insight applied correctly. So if you want fewer misunderstandings and more control in conversation, go to omniscient-insights.com/procoms, or right here thing. I'm almost a little embarrassed to talk about when I was a massive rap music fan, because I am as a human, I am painfully uncool. But painfully so. And so when I was in sort of end of primary school, start of high school, so it's 12 to 13, I was listening to a lot of Eminem, Notorious B.I.G., even the So Solid crew at the time, and then my friend who I met in high school was like, try this. It was Linkin Park, their first album, Hybrid Theory, which is at least at the very least back then it was a blend of rap and metal, and I was like, interesting. And Linkin Park very much weaned me off the rap music genre. Not that I still don't appreciate it. Rhythm and poetry is a phenomenal music discipline. But I kind of found my home with more music that I could play and get involved in. I have neither rhythm nor poetry in my soul to be able to connect to it. One of the things that was in the book that jumped out to me is this idea that the music that you heard or hear between the ages of 12 to 25 is disproportionately powerful, and it's not an accident. It's the way biology is set up. Your brain during adolescence is undergoing arguably its most dramatic restructuring since infancy or birth. Your emotional intensity is heightened, your identity is really being formed, and then music just arrives into that environment like a signal finding its open frequency. And it's always cracked me up. Like if you look at football fans, they predominantly the younger ones, of around that area, the impression that they give is super double hard guys, but the second they start singing, they're the most tactile, loving, arms around one another, having a good old knees up. And credit where credit is due, some of the songs that they come up with, they are very inventive.
Very inventive. But you could say that it is a bonding thing. Like I say, it is a social part of music as well. One thing that I got from that Jude Rogers' book, the message, she says that music shapes our emotional behaviour. And I think that fits in with what you've just said. I think during those formative years, when you start discovering things outside of football and things like that, like the opposite sex or the same sex or whatever, but in a more emotional way. Again, when I think back, I can think back of the songs that were there when I was being upbeat because I just found a new partner or something, or really distraught when I can remember, and Nilsson was always a favourite for that. Without you, I can't live if living is without you, and
can't live.
It is emotional. The other thing is that you said about rap and that, which is interesting. I've thought about it, and outside of rap and outside of music, when you get engaged with someone and you've got that neural coupling happening and you're on the same wavelength, there is a sort of musicality within the rhythm and speed and pitch and everything of when you're talking. When two people are really connected, there is a type of musicality with it. And sometimes it's punk rock, sometimes it's it's very melodic, but there you could say that music, that our language, our true language, words, and the way we communicate, sort of music attached to it. Do you think?
100%, 100%. And now I just want to notice as well, as I've just seen it, Julie says that the song "Smile" gets to her every single time. It's one of those things. But yeah, absolutely. The experience of someone else It's like it's like learning where their notes go. I'm
Yeah,
trying to cram in a musical
exactly.
metaphor, but like I'll speak from experience. At least me and my wife, we tend to laugh at the same volume,
Yeah,
accentuate specific words when we're in a particular feeling or emotional state. You know, and this it's this idea that from the book that most people don't choose music consciously. You know, they reach for
yeah,
it or almost instinctively because the nervous system knows what it needs. So if we find
mm,
that aspect within someone else, it doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic loving partner. It could be with a friend, could be with
mm,
a business partner, anyone. It's just that rhythm and connection of someone else. Like you always find that these things, like in every group, there's a loud one, there's a shy one, there's
yeah,
a gregarious one. These types of things, so that when they're all together, there is a harmony to the group itself. And when one person's not there, it doesn't feel right. It's not the same. Your music is out of key, is out of sync in that situation,
sure.
you know.
Yeah,
Like is it any wonder why most people, when they look for a workout playlist, they go for something a little heavier, maybe
yeah,
maybe some punk, maybe some metal, something like that, and these types of examples,
sure.
sad songs after a breakup, high tempo to get psyched, those types of things.
Yeah.
It's interesting that we find those elements even in those who claim to not really know what they like.
Yeah.
you know?
And music is it's not always, and I think both of them make that point that
Mm,
music isn't always obvious that
mm,
it's there. And going to Brian Eno, he created this genre called ambient music,
mm.
which is background music. And I think one of the first ones he done, if not the first one, was music for airports.
Oh, amazing.
And it ties in a lot with the behavioural equation, which is Lewin's thing, that
Yeah.
behaviour equals how a person functions in an environment. And ambient music, when I saw an interview with him explaining what it was, because people just didn't understand what it was to
Mm.
start with. And he said it was like the architecture of space influencing how people behave in it.
Here's the truth: clarity under pressure isn't natural, it's trained. Axiom is a cognitive framework, one that is designed to improve your reasoning, to improve your memory, and then the subsequent decision making that goes along with that. Not theory focused, not just inspirational quotes, mental architecture. So if you want to think clearly and do so when it counts, go to omniscient-insights.com/axiom or right there, because in chaos, the clear thinker wins. Most people think faster. Very few think better. Axiom trains structured reasoning so your conclusions are sharper, your arguments are stronger, and your decisions are cleaner. So if you value precision over noise and color, visit, why do I keep saying visit?
And it
Uh,
is. It's like it doesn't just entertain you; it
yeah,
quietly shapes how we feel and
yeah,
behave in certain environments. So it's a bit like choice architecture, isn't it? So
yeah.
if you're using that, examples of putting things in certain places, if you like they do in supermarkets, tie that in with music, and this music isn't just randomly got. They look at their demographics of who's using that shop
Mm,
or who's watching adverts, and they target that with music from
mm,
that era
yeah,
or which fits with that. And
yeah.
there's that song which is come round again in the UK. it's being used in a lot of adverts. I can't pronounce the guy's name, and I can't even pronounce the name of the song. It's Freezing Cold in 1992, I think it's called, and it is a song which a German guy, I think he's German, wrote, and it
Mm.
is written in its gibberish. But it's how an it I know he was Italian. It's how an Italian
Okay.
in their brain
Mm.
interprets how an American speaks. And you
That's
hear it, it's in
fascinating.
adverts, but it is total nonsense. The song is total nonsense, but it's very rhythmic and it's very, and it was made in the 1970s. And I
Yeah,
noticed that's come back onto adverts. I can't remember
love
what
it.
the adverts are for, but I think artists are probably very uh, welcome that because they make more money off of these adverts than they probably do from the song itself.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, look at my T-shirt. I'm obviously a comic book dork, and the Guardians of the Galaxy films.
Ah, yes,
That
yes,
soundtrack was absolutely celebrated, and
yes,
there's people talking about like, oh, why is it so good? Well, you think about the music of the '80s, which
yeah,
Peter Quill was plucked from. It was joyous, it was vibrant, it was full of effort and emotion. Like, music is one of the fastest identity signaling systems that humans have, right? I
sure,
think I think it was Robert Cialdini, or Cialdini, however you say his last name. His work on liking shows that we're really drawn to people that share our references, share our values, share our
yeah,
tastes,
yeah,
and like, music is a way of compressing all three of those into like a
mm,
single data point. So like,
yeah,
if I'd said Newton Faulkner, like if we imagine a situation where we didn't really know each other, and I'd mentioned Newton Faulkner, and you went, "Oh, the people should smile more guy."
yeah,
Well, instant connection. And like,
yeah,
if you've ever got the, I don't know what situations this would happen, so forgive me, but if you've ever got the opportunity to look at a playlist that someone's made for themselves, or like their CD collection, or their frequently listened to on Spotify, talk about a direct insight into what sparks their emotions, what modulates their
yeah,
cortisol, what changes their heart rate, what
yeah,
their nervous system wants and thinks it needs in particular situations. The behavioral insight, the behavioral intelligence that you get from these kinds of things, is phenomenal. I used to do this thing years ago when I'd perform, when I'd ask someone to think of a song they liked, and if they couldn't think of one, I'd give them one of the karaoke books, because we're normally at weddings, or parties where there'd be a karaoke book lying around. And normally, from how they nodded, I'd ask them to sing it in their heads, and from how they kind of nodded along to it, you could
yeah,
kind of get this understanding for how musical
yeah,
they were, from how they felt it or how they heard it. Some people would be really stiff, or some people would kind of nod along with their whole body. So you get this understanding that there's a bunch of memories
yeah,
attached to it, or a bunch of feeling
sure.
or situations. It's huge. Music's so important. I'm so glad you brought this topic up.
Yeah,
Oh dear.
it's something we could probably talk about for hours, and we haven't even got into the sort of the biology side of it,
Yeah.
apart from saying that this misnomer that the amygdala is only for the fight and flight,
Yeah.
everything goes through the amygdala. It just decides whether it's positive or negative
Hmm.
valence.
Mm.
And positive, then it just because all it's doing really is it's channeling the chemicals through it, and if it thinks you're going to have to defend yourself against it. And the first time I heard punk rock, I was probably more um, negative than positive
Mm.
towards, because it was such a
Mm.
culture shock.
Yeah.
And even now, I like it, but I don't say it's in the same as other music that I like.
Mm.
It's very, it's very in your face, and
Mm.
it's hard not to, it's hard to say you really like it. You can
Yeah.
admire it, and you can
Mm.
you can listen to it, but I wouldn't say it's as good. If you put that in one corner and say Phil Collins in the other, there's a world of difference between the two.
Oh, come on. Two Hearts, what a song. And there's that oh, the name's escaping me. What is it, my love? How can I just let you walk away? Just let you leave without a
Oh, yeah,
trace.
yeah.
Well, I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, Against All Odds.
Thank you. Against All Odds. What a fantastic song.
Yeah,
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think it should be abundantly clear that we could keep talking about this topic all the live long day.
and you can't sing
So
either.
no, I can't. I've always said about my confidence level that I'm one of those people that I can't sing, but I will sing.
Yeah,
Like there's a difference between being a guitarist and knowing how to play the guitar.
yeah.
Those types of things. Um, but yes, so if you've enjoyed the singing, by all means, let us know. And if you've enjoyed the references to the books and the way that you can look at somebody's musical tastes, do let us know as well. On the flip side of that, it's also just as important to understand what people don't listen to. What they've stopped listening to can be, in certain circumstances, even more revealing than what they do. All right.
Mm.
So, Bob, any final thoughts before we part ways?
No, I just think that we'd have to do this again because music is really one of those. We could probably make this more academic if you want, and more,
Mm.
neurological by talking about the processes and that involved, which
Yeah.
is what Jude Rogers does to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But in short, here on this one, all we can say is that it's a head and a heart thing, and it is around us all the time. It's in supermarkets, it's on adverts, and it is a great way to influence people, and that is because it brings back memories to people, and if they're positive memories, then you've got them, you're halfway there to influence them.
Absolutely. All right, folks. So, with that in mind, let's hope you listen to some wonderful music, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, guys. Take it easy.
Bye.
See you later.